The most iconic beefsteak is definitely the Porterhouse. It is a staple of the steakhouse, and by virtue of its distinct T-shaped bone, the most instantly recognizable cut. No one is exactly sure where the term Porterhouse came from, but it is thought to be of American origin. It emerged during the early 19th century. The name came from the drinking establishments known as porterhouses. These were taverns that served porter beer, the dark English ale, but they also served chops and steaks.
The Porterhouse was soon adopted as the main staple of the New York City steakhouse, such as Peter Luger's in Brooklyn.
The Porterhouse is not a T-bone. While similar, the Tenderloin is larger and rounder on the Porterhouse and significantly tapered on the T-bone. The Porterhouse's popularity is driven by the fact that it contains both the tenderest and most flavorful muscles on the steer. These two muscles are often served as separate steaks, the tenderloin or filet mignon and the strip loin or New York strip steak. So with the Porterhouse, you're really getting the taste of a couple of great steaks. But where exactly does the Porterhouse come from? First of all, the best steaks come from steer, the male of the species. A dressed beef carcass weighs as much as 1,000 pounds. This is split down the middle, resulting in 2 sides of beef. A side is then further broken down into 4 primal cuts. Porterhouses are cut from the short loin primal. This steak is especially tender and flavorful because the muscles contained in it are sedentary tissue. The finer the muscle fiber, the more tender the steak. Beef is aged to enhance its flavor and tenderize it. A fresh carcass will have fat that is not fully solidified, and its flesh will not be as tender or flavorful as beef that has been aged. There are 2 ways of aging beef, wet and dry. Wet aged beef is the way that almost all beef is brought to market these days. The meat is vacuum sealed in plastic for around 2 weeks, which allows natural enzymes to break down the muscle fibers, making them softer and more tender. The reason we call it wet aging is because the beef does not lose any moisture as it sits in the bag. Dry aged beef is beef that has been stored uncovered to allow a controlled decay to occur. Don't be put off by that. It's the same way that wine and cheese are made, and I'm sure you find those delicious. The average steak is dry aged for 28 days, but let's start at day 1. As the beef sits on the shelf, the exact same enzymes that tenderize wet aged beef also tenderize the dry aged beef. However, the process also forces water out of the dry aged beef, making it desiccate over time. Dry aging requires a very cold environment, just above freezing, and humidity levels of over 70%. Good airflow is also vital, and a dry aging room is often like a wind tunnel. Dry-aged beef is juicier, more tender, and more flavorful than wet-aged beef, but it is also much more expensive because you lose a lot during the aging process. The fully aged short loin has lost almost 25% of its weight compared to the fresh one.
So now you know all about the Porterhouse, where it comes from, and what to look for in selecting the best steak available. I'll see you at the steakhouse.